So the first question comes from Castlemaine Community House, who probably many people know provides programs and activities contributing to community development in the community. So, in your view, what contributes to a resilient community and how can the council support that? Who'd like to answer that one? Got another taker as well as Phillip? Anyone else? All right, we'll go from Phillip to Toby. So, Phillip, you have 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Yeah,
thank you.
Up to 3 minutes.
That's all right. I'll try and be quicker. First of all, Castlemaine Community House questions were great. Community House here in Maltby are real hubs of the community. I think as council, can we nurture the growth of new community houses elsewhere? Newstead, Campbell's Creek, Elphingston. With public transport from the outer areas is a problem. Malden Community House runs a community bus. Can we grow those as well? Resilient community typically references, when we talk about it, we're talking about increase in natural disasters. How do communities cope with that? I've spent a number of years internationally working as disaster management, now locally as a volunteer with an emergency services organisation. My master's thesis was on community-based disaster management and how we build that sense of resilience and community inclusion. But the questions Castlemaine Community House asks and also goes to this question of ongoing self-sufficiency and sustainability is around, as I mentioned, participatory democracy and things that council can do. For example, Newstead Community got organised, they got $1 million state government grant to put in place solar farm and panels. That is one, net zero carbon emissions, 2, drastically reduces costs, 3, means that community has power when the mainstream lines go down due to storm, flood or fire. Council can be advocating to state government to make more of those grants available, and there's operations and governance. As governance, we can be engaging with communities, how's it going. On the operations side, that means going out and helping communities organise. How do you get a grant? How do you put it in together? How do you come together? Can we replicate that further across onto other things as well? For example, I've got to flick my notes over. The issues around diversity and inclusion, there's a whole range of there that we're bringing, of working with stakeholders and with partners as well to be doing these things together. It also cuts across to I've run out of my thoughts. Renewable economy. People talk of roads, rates and rubbish. Rubbish now is much more how do we build a renewable economy, reduce waste, and that sort of partnership going on. We actually have so much going for us. We're a really strong community. We're multiple communities within diverse communities. I mentioned earlier the challenges we face. It's a question of building that together to make the resilience, because we know things are going to get worse before they get better, but driving our own pace of change and doing that as well, which is our self-sufficiency within us all. Thank you.
Thanks, Phillip. And thanks to the House for the question. I should declare that I am the chair of the Board of Management of Castlemaine Community House. That's potential contributions, but I had no part in drafting the question. And just to
Pulled the plug, have I, Jim?
Okay, great. To add on to Philip's points are all really salient and important ones about when we talk about resilience. And Phillip has talked eloquently about environmental issues, natural disasters, emergency responses. Another side, I think, to community resilience, and this is where the House is really crucial as a kind of a centre hub, a central linchpin for the community, is in supporting lifelong learning and in supporting connection. So inclusivity and connectivity are key pillars of the Shire, have been for some time, and I think we all here support those key pillars. Castlemaine Community House does so much in this space. We could think about how the House has moved in the last few years towards more work in terms of food security. So I think lifelong learning is really important for our Shire, and not just for vocational reasons, not just better equipping school leavers or people in later stages of life preparing for career changes, but also in terms of the socialisation and the acculturation within the community. Something else I think that's really important here is to emphasise how in these times of, as Lucas pointed out earlier in his opening address, the cost of living crisis that's striking us all in this Shire means that the kinds of demands that organisations like the House have on the food pantry, for instance, is growing at a huge rate. And just to finish off, I guess one last point I'd make about resilience, is thinking about the way that different community organisations work together. I've been lucky enough to be involved in a number of different organisations across the Shire in my time here. And it's often said that Castlemaine runs on voluntary labour and voluntary commitments, and it's so true. And one of the beauties of a town of 10,000 people is that we do all tend to know each other. So we can reach out to other people at different community organisations who can lend a hand. And that's really where an organisation like the Community House really comes to the fore. One last point I'd make about the changing demographics of the Shire. We've seen a lot of retirees move to the Shire, particularly Malden way, but all across the Shire. And that's been wonderful. They bring all sorts of skills and experience to the Shire. Often, though, we find people coming to the Shire, having a lovely retirement here. One partner might pass away, leaving another person on their own. And so social isolation is a huge issue for us. So I think a part of resilience is addressing social isolation.
Thank you. Question comes